What is up, guys? Welcome to Airline Agitators Volume 3. Thank you very much for joining me. This episode of Airline Agitators is set to be an action-packed one. We have our usual mix of unruly, Karen-like passengers, but we'll also see some pursuits within the airport perimeter. And we'll also see what happens when the equipment decides to become degenerate. And just before we taxi on into our first clip, I'd ask you if you wouldn't mind smashing that like button, as it really helps the channel out. So with that being said, let's jump on into our first clip.
Yeah, now you have to go with them. I paid money for this thing. Are you going to come out on your own? Why am I being exposed? Stop it! Stop touching me! Stop it! Stop assaulting me! Leave me alone! Stop it! Leave me alone! Stop it! Sit down! I'm disabled, woman! Leave me alone! Stop it! Stop! Somebody help me! Stop it! Ridiculous. She should not even. Stop! She wanted to get
Na na na.
I'll get all of us.
Well, that's one way of making yourself an absolute laughingstock. She starts off with a classic Karen line of, "Oh, I paid money." They seem to think that just because they paid the fare that they can behave however they like. It's like those guys that get on clearly intoxicated, and when they're asked to leave, they're like, "I paid money for this ticket." So what? You're clearly intoxicated. My favourite part was when she called out for help and all she was met with was solid laughter.
Somebody help me!
Like, what did she expect when she started shouting for help, like the other passengers to get up and come to her aid and pull the police off her? And then to see a mobile phones at the end with everybody recording it. Oh, what a memorable holiday. The absolute embarrassment. Next up is a gentleman who seems to be having some difficulty with the self-service check-in machines. Well, he's taken matters into his own hands and decided if he can't check in, then nobody can. I don't know, guys, I don't think anything warrants that level of frustration. Like, I know you're a bit annoyed, but like, come on, that's just making things worse for yourself. Like, that's some serious criminal damage there. Those machines cannot be cheap. And he must have absolute gonads of steel, because did you see the absolute queue of people at that one machine that he broke up? I'm actually surprised the passengers didn't get together and issue a group beatdown. He's just made matters worse on himself, the other passengers and the staff to have to deal with this mess. And most likely whatever flight he was freaking out about he's going to miss now anyway because he's going to be dealing with the cops. At the end of the day, it's just not worth it. Next up we have a guy that seems to be having a meltdown at an airport desk. The issue here is that this gentleman has come in off a flight that was delayed and now he's going to miss his connecting flight. But when I stumbled upon this video and seeing the comments, the people in the comments weren't directing their criticism so much at the guy having the freak out, it was more so at the guy that was recording the whole incident. They were saying that the guy recording had actually made the matter worse. And that obviously the guy at the desk is going to be frustrated, maybe he has somewhere to go, you don't know what's going on in that guy's life, and yeah, maybe he was in the wrong to like have his little tantrum. But at the same time, by you recording it, you only exasperated his situation. Really, the only people that they were commending in this clip were the airport staff. So you guys can judge for yourself and let me know what you think. Let's take a look.
I've been here for the last... What's that? Why did they call? My flight's been delayed. Stop filming right now. Stop filming. You're being rude. Stop filming.
You better calm down.
No, you need to stop
Do
filming
not
right now.
touch
Stop
me.
filming.
Can you call security, please? Thank you, ma'am.
Security for what? Because you're filming me?
So apparently the guy recording the clip came in on the same flight as that guy, the same delayed flight, so he's in basically the same predicament. So we obviously seen this guy becoming agitated earlier on, that's why he's recording now. But it doesn't really seem like there's a need for it, and he's only making the situation worse.
You're rude. You know that? You're rude. What do you think you're going to accomplish by this? Huh? Somehow you're going to be like, oh, look at this passenger. For what? You're ridiculous.
I have to say this guy does have a point. There's no need to be recording, he's only trying to catch him doing something embarrassing just out of sheer frustration.
I asked her to. She did not decide.
Why are you filming me? You're out of line for what you're doing. I can be frustrated. It's okay to be frustrated. But what you're doing is wrong.
Do you want to know who else missed their flight? I did, but I'm not acting insane.
You just have to rush over here and run.
Yeah, I ran. I was out of breath, but I didn't act like a jerk.
Okay, then go start filming me.
Do it. You should. Are you concerned for your safety with me?
What's that?
Am I acting erratic?
Yeah, you're acting like an idiot. Nice. They're not going to do anything. It's idle insult. I like my last name. They're not going to do anything. It's idle. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be frustrated. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because you were acting...
Ma'am, did I miss the same flight? And how did I act towards you? You told me to wait and I said okay, right?
Okay, you're a better individual.
Correct. Apparently.
You're a better individual. You're so much better. This guy right here. Moron. And why would security even come over here? Seriously, why would security?
Do you want to see the tape? That's why.
What for what?
Because you're acting erratic. You're
I'm
acting
acting
insane.
erratic. No, erratic would be going crazy all over the place.
Like this.
No. You're a moron.
I don't know, guys, I think I'm more on the side of our guy being recorded because the cameraman seems a bit like a frauditor type to me. And I sniff a sense of self-righteousness in him too. Clearly bored while he's delayed waiting for his flight, so he decides to agitate some people to get a bit of content. That just about sums it up, but let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. We're going to cruise on in now to our section on airport pursuits. And the first one we're going to take a look at is actually from about 10 years ago. Now, it's a bit of an old one, but I know a lot of you guys, especially my United States viewers, may not have seen it. And this actually happened here in Ireland at Cork Airport. And I'll explain a little bit more as we go through the clip. So to bring you up to speed, this incident began at about 4:30 PM on the day when a man approached a Garda Traffic Corps SUV stopped in traffic outside the Dunn Stores on Patrick Street in Cork City Centre. He jumped in and threatened the Garda with a 12-inch kitchen knife. He then proceeded to scrape the Garda from his ear to his mouth and then down along his neck, forcing him from the vehicle. He then took off in that vehicle, and when he arrived at the airport he crashed it through the perimeter fence, abandoned that vehicle, then commandeered this rescue jeep from the staff at the airport. The Garda who he had attacked with the knife wasn't seriously injured and managed to raise the alarm, and a number of Garda units had pursued him to the airport. On the way to the airport, he rammed an unmarked Garda car which caused a detective to suffer a neck injury. I'm not really sure what the game plan is here. The staff and the Gardaí and everybody else seem to be a bit baffled by what's going on, as obviously this isn't a usual occurrence. A few of the bystanders at the airport were actually suggesting that the Gardaí shoot the tyres out. Well, that may be a decent suggestion. I don't think so at the airport when the planes are full of people and also there's a lot of fuel about. Another option maybe is to box them in. And I'm thinking that that could have been the way they were hoping to end this. As you see here, one of the airport fire trucks has shown up. So maybe that was the strategy that they were going to go for, but at the same time they have to think about their own safety, the safety of the passengers, and they don't want any unnecessary damage to the vehicles. But at the same time he is posing quite a risk to the people down there on the ground, himself and everyone else, and you can't let this go on forever as it's bound to cause disruption at the airport. I'm also quite certain that while all this is going on, no planes can either take off nor land, so there's probably planes in holding patterns around the airport waiting for this madness to end so they can come in for their landing. And the longer this goes on, the more riskier it is for those flights. As I always say, it reminds me of scenes that you'd see out of Grand Theft Auto. There's quite a convoy of cars chasing them around the airport. And quite a mix of vehicles as well. You have your airport fire truck there, you have some other jeeps, you have some unmarked Garda cars, some marked Garda cars, and earlier on we also saw an airport police car, and all the while he's tried to play bumper cars with these people. We all knew it was only a matter of time before it happened, and here he collides with a Garda vehicle. He then continues on in the direction of the aircraft. The car directly behind him is belonging to the Regional Support Unit and contains armed Gardaí, who had been cleared to use necessary force against the suspect. They managed to bring him to a stop before he collided with the aircraft, and they had to use a taser to subdue and disarm him. He was then arrested. The whole incident was witnessed by many people in the terminal building, many of which agreed it's lucky that nobody was seriously hurt. If he had collided with a fuel truck or an aircraft, they could have had hundreds if not thousands of casualties. A spokesperson for the airport said that the incident caused minimum disruption and that a private charter flight to Lourdes had to be postponed from 5:30 to 5:58, but otherwise flights continued as normal. So luckily this guy didn't disrupt too many people's plans. The suspect, Edmund Stapleton, appeared in court in June 2012 in front of Judge Sean O'Donovan, who imposed a total of 12 years, the last 5 of which were suspended, and banned him for driving for 20 years. The central issue of the trial was whether he was intoxicated on drugs or not guilty by reason of insanity. A jury convicted him on all 12 charges. Judge O'Donovan said that what the jury did not know was that there had been a warrant out for Stapleton's arrest in relation to a serious drug allegation for the 18 months prior to that date. In addressing Stapleton, the judge said, "You have shown yourself to be on occasion a violent and aggressive man who is dangerous to the public. You can harm people and you have a long history of drug abuse." He continued, "I got an impression of you retreating into bush living. The jury were not aware you were on the run for 18 months. Without foundation and with your problems you could only go one way, downwards. That has to be remedied." The judge described his purposefulness and determination with which Stapleton behaved on the day, for instance having a holster on his back for a second knife in case he was disarmed of the first one. Judge O'Donovan suggested that if the incident had occurred in any other country, it's likely that Stapleton would have been shot dead during his rampage at the airport, ramming a Garda car and trying to drive a rescue truck at planes full of passengers and fuel. In that regard, the judge singled out Detective Sergeant Daniel Colohan, an armed Garda, for dealing successfully with Stapleton in a non-lethal manner. The Garda who was threatened with a knife, Garda Bohane, said that he relived it on many an occasion. It's something that he had never experienced in An Garda Síochána. "I was singled out in an unprovoked attack by a frenzied man who attacked me. I was fighting for my life." The gentleman who was pulled out of the jeep at the airport by Stapleton said that he found the memory of the incident very troubling. "I thought I would lose my life. I thought I would never see my wife and children again. I was fully sure I was going to die." And the detective in the car that he rammed said it was the most frightening incident he has had in his career in the Gardaí. "I was very much in fear for my life," he said.
One of America's busiest airports is back in business after a serious security breach and a wild police chase across 2 runways. Authorities want to know exactly how one car got through a fence on the perimeter of LAX. There it is.
This was the scene as the driver in a silver Mazda led police on a high-speed chase across one of the highest trafficked areas in the country, the tarmac at Los Angeles International Airport.
Huge ripple effect here after a vehicle actually breached the airport facilities.
After breaking through a fence near the airport's FedEx cargo facility, the driver sped past a line of parked jumbo jets. Witnesses then say the car drove across 2 busy runways on the airport's south side, did a U-turn back across them before coming to a halt outside a private terminal. The large chain-link gate near the FedEx loading area was found completely destroyed. Police gave chase most of the time until the hatchback stopped outside Atlantic Aviation, a charter jet terminal.
This is a really crazy one.
More than a dozen police cars surrounded the vehicle, and the driver surrendered. When the car came to a rest, the letters, inexplicably for now, SOS, were clearly visible on the hood.
Police have not released the identity of the driver or what the motive may have been. Nobody was injured during this chase, but the question remains how a major breach like this could have happened in the first place.
That was actually some madness. The first clip reminded me of something out of Wacky Razors. Luckily in this case nobody was seriously injured, and fair play to that Garda for bringing that guy in safely. And I don't know what the situation was with that second clip, but LAX is not one airport that you want to be in on the runway. You're just looking for trouble, and luckily again in this case nobody got hurt. In our final segment we're going to look at some times when the equipment at the airport became degenerate, or the operator was a degenerate themselves. We're also going to see some shockingly bad baggage handlers.
Baggage handlers are stealing, caught on secret cameras, hidden in the belly of the plane. Watch as this baggage handler finds a wallet. Bingo, there's the cash. Let's count it. Maybe there's more. Yep, credit cards. Let's take those too. Video of the brazen theft obtained exclusively by ABC News from the New York Region's Port Authority Police.
Some very costly fails there in those clips. And those baggage handlers kind of explain where that knockoff pair of Ray-Bans you bought in Spain for your buddy went. I'm sorry about that, lads. But yeah, it would seem that there's never a dull moment while working at the airport. And don't forget to let us know what your favourite clip was down below in the comments. But anyway, sorry, what? Producer? Sorry, I just got a word from my producer there, said that we have to go to some breaking news. The only breaking news here is that my producer is a... Some breaking aviation news just in. Low-cost, no-frills airline Ryanair have just announced some new cost-cutting measures. The company today announced that they will no longer be paying service providers to tow their aircraft, as they will be taking over operations themselves. We were delighted to be invited to the unveiling of one of their new tugs and one of their new aircraft, and we were delighted to bring you this exclusive report. We were thrilled to be given the opportunity by Ryanair to head down to BICS, that's Ballycastle International, for the unveiling of their new tug. The brand new state-of-the-art tugs have been purchased in a bid to cut costs and also reduce the amount of wasted working hours. The new tugs now allow the operator to defecate right there and then as he's towing an aircraft. Toilet breaks are such a thing of the past, the spokesperson was quoted as saying, but it looks as if trouble is just on the horizon, as one of the workers' unions have said they're not going to stand for this crap. Coming to you exclusively from Ballycastle International Airport, it's me for Degenerate Watch News. Well guys, that's just about all we have time for this episode of Airline Agitators. I do hope you enjoyed it, and if you do, please help support the channel by dropping us a like, as it does really help us out. And if you'd like to do a little bit more, we also have other ways you can help support us too. We now have channel memberships open. If you click the join button just down below this video, you'll be able to see what perks are on offer. We also have the Degenerate Watch merch store, so head on over there, check it out, see if there's anything you like. You can also make us a donation on PayPal or buy us a coffee over on our blog over on Coffee. Links to everything I've just mentioned are down below in the description. And as always, your continued help, support and encouragement is very much thoroughly appreciated. Well guys, once again I just want to thank you very much for joining me. And I also want to give a massive shout out to all the people that are watching this on the premiere. I hope to see you all again soon for another video here on Degenerate Watch. And I just want to say, I know I've been banging on about doing live streams for a long time, but they are coming. So I'll see you all again very soon, and if you can't wait until the next video, don't forget to check out one of our other videos which will be appearing on screen now. Until next time guys, stay safe, take care, peace.